AFC showdown on Thursday Night Football. Week 6 kicks off tonight with the champs. They're heading to hostile territory. Yep, Tom Brady and the Buccaneers looking to keep it rolling. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles are trying to make a statement on their home turf, staying hungry, trying to do their thing. It is a primetime battle in the city of brotherly love. Tom Brady never likes facing this Eagles squad, I don't think, after what happened in that Super Bowl. So check it out tonight in Philadelphia, Thursday Night Football. Tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern on NFL Network, on Fox, and streaming on Prime Video. Welcome to GMFB. We're presented to you by Old Trafford Beef Jerky. Peter Schrager, Kyle Brandt, D'Angelo Hall with us. My name's Kay Adams. Thanks for choosing us this morning as we hit the lead block.
Lead block.
Yep, let's get right to it, guys. We'll go to Lincoln Financial Field now, where we find Mike Garafolo. The Bucs secondary, Mike, has been less than stellar so far this season. As you join us, love having you. You look like $1 million. They're a bit banged up, though. What's the plan against the Eagles tonight?
Thank you, Kay. I wish I had returned. All you guys, I'm sure, look spectacular as well. All right, the Bucs secondary, Antoine Winfield Jr., he has been ruled out. He's missed the last 2 games now with a concussion. They were hopeful he was going to make it, so he is not going to make it. They've got 2 cornerbacks on injured reserve. They had Jamel Dean, who was out, then finally worked his way back from injury. So Richard Sherman has really been the constant for the Bucs secondary the last couple of weeks. And look, they understand this is not the same Richard Sherman as as he was early in his career. Excuse me. Certainly the physical tools are starting to decline, but mentally, this is a guy who walked in. He wasn't here for training camp. He wasn't here for the offseason. They'd be in the middle of a game, and he looks around and realizes, oh, wait, they didn't explain this check to me, but you know what? I can piece this together. There's 1 receiver on my side. There's 3 receivers on the other side. This is the way he was describing it to me the other day. He'd say, okay, I just kind of go on what I knew already and be able to kind of fill in the gaps. So Richard Sherman has really been the glue for this Tampa Bay Buccaneers secondary the last couple of weeks, despite the fact that he was not here for much of the offseason, training camp, and the start of the regular season as well. So the Buccaneers definitely happy with what Sherman has been able to do to keep them together on the back end through all of these injuries.
It is pretty amazing. He was on his couch 3 weeks ago, and now he's the #1 corner on the defending Super Bowl champions. Mike, all offseason we talked about this Eagles running attack and how Miles Sanders was going to be stepping into that Jonathan Taylor role, the Sirianni offense, and yet the running backs haven't really gotten going yet. Can they get the running game going in Philly, and what's going on with Sanders and even Kenny Gainwell, who's been great in the receiving game but hasn't put up a bunch of rushing yards?
Yeah, Peter, listen, this is the talk every day in sports radio here in Philadelphia. In fact, I was on with WIP the other day, and they were asking me, why aren't we running the football to our running backs? And it's several factors. Number one, the offensive line continues to be juggled. Last week, you saw Jordan Mailata, your guy, come back into the lineup and go to the right side, to right tackle, while Andre Dillard played the left side because Lane Johnson is still out. And Johnson will miss tonight's game. He's been ruled out once again. He'll miss his 3rd game due to an ongoing personal situation. So that's one factor as well. The other thing is that right now, especially tonight, you're going up against some stout defenses in the middle. Tampa Bay, they have not seen many runs up the middle of their defense. I would not expect that is going to continue tonight. So the Eagles trying to find creative ways to work around the running game, as well as some of those RPOs that we talk about all the time. The run-pass option, these runs have a pass option attached to them, and Nick Sirianni has been relatively pleased with how Jalen Hurts has read these things. If you're getting a certain look from the defense, throw the ball instead of running it. So he's okay if you don't run the ball in that situation because you get a certain look from the defense. So I would expect after tonight's game, you've got the extended layoff, the mini kind of bye because of the long weekend and such, that the Eagles will look at this, self-scout, and maybe start to run the football and design some things going forward. But you're not going to do it on a short week where you're really trying to do the things that you've done well the first couple of weeks, and that has been to throw the ball.
You're not going to do it against Vita Vea and company in that Bucs defense, even without Levante David and company. Now, 42 yards a game this season for Miles Sanders on the ground, 20 yards a game this season for Kenneth Gainwell. I'd like to see them get the ball and get in a rhythm, probably not in the game plan, though, tonight. Thank you so much, Mike Garafolo. We'll talk to you throughout the show leading up to that tough fight for Philly on Thursday Night Football up against the Buccaneers. So where am I looking? Where am I? Right here? Okay, great. How can the Eagles beat the Buccaneers tonight, guys? Right here on NFL Network, Kyle, 8 p.m. Eastern.
It's a funny show today.
I don't know what's...
I kind of like it.
Air traffic control.
So anyway, here's the deal. No, it always is best laid plans, is the expression. It always sounds good. We're going to run the ball. We're going to get the ball. This is that. I don't think so either. I mean, I see Devin White and Vita Vea, and I think that Philly does have a shot tonight, and I think it's for Jalen Hurts to go absolutely ballistic, I think is the word. He is a great player in terms of his ability and the yards he's put up. I think they need a shootout. And I think Jalen Hurts needs to throw for 400 yards, and they hope for a couple turnovers from the Bucs. I really do. Peter talked about earlier this week about how we thought this Bucs pass rush was going to have 20 sacks a game. Like, they were the great, and they've underwhelmed. They haven't been bad. They've just underwhelmed. I think Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith and Whiteside and everybody, especially with Lane Johnson out, is just going to have to start chucking it. And the idea that Hurts is going to be under pressure, how's he going to play? How's he going to stand to it? Take a look at how Hurts has been under pressure. This is really cool, and this is credibility for this guy you're going to watch tonight. Highest pass rate under pressure in the whole league. He's third. Russell Wilson all the way up there. Brady, who plays tonight there. And then Hurts. When you rush him, he doesn't freak out. He maybe leaves the pocket, maybe stays calm. I think he's going to have to do this for 4 quarters. 400 yards passing, maybe 50 rushing, and 2 turnovers at least from Tampa. That's the recipe I see. Otherwise, Tampa's too good.
And it's very interesting when you look at that graphic, right? Because every quarterback on that list is mobile except for Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And so even though Tom Brady's getting that pressure, he's still able to get the football to where he needs to. And that's the thing that I feel like the Eagles have to somehow, they got to play tight end coverage. But also by playing tight end coverage with Darius Slay and Steven Nelson, it's the guys up front have to continue to put a little bit of pressure. Make Tom move off of that spot just a little bit. And it's guys like Fletcher Cox. Javon Hargrave has 6 sacks for the Eagles right now. I mean, these are 2 guys who are in the middle of your defense. You know, everybody thinks you rush Tom from the outside. No, because Tom loves to just step up, barely move in that pocket, give you a little shoulder turn, and throw a great pass, throw a dime. It's that pressure up the middle. And, you know, I really think Fletcher Cox is going to be huge in this game. They have guys on the outside that can get home, but it's going to be Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave, in my opinion, that affect this game. And if they can continue to get that pressure, make Tom just move his feet a little bit, he'll throw a couple up there if he feels like I'm going to get hit. And so I think that's the blueprint, especially defensively.
I want to come in and say, yeah, but the Bucs are on only 3 days rest, so that affects them. Like they might not be their best version of the Bucs, and you can catch them. Brady's 9-1 on 3 days rest, the most and the best record ever for an NFL quarterback since the merger. Like it's not that you're going to beat them mentally. Like they're not going to have this game where they're just sleeping at the wheel. So you have to beat them physically. And the truth is, the Eagles have had many of good efforts this season. They just haven't put it together yet. They have had 2 great defensive games. They shut down the Panthers offense last week. They shut down the Chiefs offense a few weeks ago. And they've had 2 great offensive games. They put up a lot of points against the Cowboys, and they put up a lot of points against the Falcons. They haven't put it all together yet. Like, they need to put it all together. And I think that's going to be what it takes. Like, we've watched week 1. They blew out the Falcons. We're like, all right, this is what we're getting. And then week 2, the offense sputtered and couldn't get going against the Chiefs. How do you put a complete game together? How do you make it work where you're mixing and matching? And we can do. They're at home. They're coming off the best win of the season, a comeback victory, which a lot of people probably thought the Panthers lost this game and the Eagles didn't win this game. Panthers had 2 interceptions late. Look, you shut down the 49ers offense. You could shut down some parts of this. I'm wishy-washy on this one. I don't think Hurts is going to go bananas on this defense. I don't think Miles Sanders is going to run for 100 yards. But if you keep this game in the 20s and hang around, you're at home. Look, Brady and the Buccaneers, they're not great in these primetime games. We've seen them lose Monday night games to the Rams, Thursday night games to the Bears. They have lost in primetime over this last 2-year reign. They might be able to be kicked off here, but you have to play your best game. It has to be a complete game. You can't just play, oh, we're great on offense, our defense stinks at it. You need to be better playing the champion.
Does it have to, you don't think it's all on Jalen Hurts? Like, how much is on Jalen Hurts, if not all of it?
Most of it.
His arm, his legs. Like, we've seen him have, he lit up the Chiefs. We've also seen he's like a weird little surprise. We don't know what we're going to get. But isn't it mostly on him, like, he has to have his best game?
Yeah, and here's the thing with him.
Like, expose the secondary. It's the only hole you can poke in the other team. Go.
They've got 3 first-round picks next year, the Eagles. If they're a 6-11 team, they're taking a quarterback with one of them. So, like Jalen Hurts, prime time, Brady on the other side. if not now, when? Like, this is the game.
This feels like Allen Iverson versus the Lakers in the finals. Like,
I think
he's going to have a step over, like that absolute showpiece. I completely agree. I think if Jalen Hurts plays average, I think they get destroyed. I think he needs to have a star night.
Especially if the running game's sort of out of the equation up against Tampa, which it usually is. Tom Pelissero joining us now. That game in a couple of hours at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on NFL Network. But let's talk a little bit other NFC East. Let's go to the Giants. They were hit with the injury bug in a pretty big way last week. Will they have Daniel Jones or Saquon Barkley back this weekend?
Okay, Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley did not practice on Wednesday as the Giants get ready for that game against the Rams. Not a surprise on either front. Jones remains in the NFL's concussion protocol, though Coach Joe Judge said he is making good progress. Everything seems to be on track. Not ruling out Jones yet for Sunday, even if he doesn't practice the entire week. But certainly after that play at the goal line, Jones' status is up in the air. If he can't go, it'd be the veteran Mike Glennon in line to get the start. As for Barkley, Arian Rappaport reported shortly after the injury, not expected to play this week after suffering a pretty nasty-looking ankle sprain. The hope is Barkley could be back as soon as next week against the Panthers. Devontae Booker figures to get a lot of work in his absence. Giants also don't have wide receiver Kenny Golladay. He's expected to miss a couple weeks because of his knee. A sliver of good news, Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, Kadarius Toney, their other wide receivers, all did practice on a limited basis on Wednesday, Kay.
We love watching Kadarius Toney, his experience in the NFL. Thank you so much, Tom Pelissero. We'll talk to you throughout the morning here on Good Morning Football leading into that action tonight. Now, our next guest had a big Week 5